Hello and welcome to Briefly Everything, the brief timeline of history that will make you sound smart at any dinner party. In previous episode we went from the chimpanzee to different siblings of the Homo kind, and we ended with fire. If you want more context, I always recommend that you start at the rear end, however you're just as welcome either way. Today we'll talk about Homo Sapiens, what made us special and our way of life. Please enjoy. 200,000 years ago, Homo Sapiens evolved and lived alongside other hominid species, sometimes even making little interspecial babies. A recent survey shows how modern humans in the Middle East and Europe contain up to 4% Neanderthal DNA, which supports the theory that when Homo sapiens spread around the world, they bred with other human populations. This is called the interbreeding theory. Another hot theory is the replacement theory, which argues that humans around the world died out or were killed off and replaced by the modern human. Now, a common misconception is to call our species Homo sapiens, but it's actually Homo sapiens sapiens. Homo sapiens refers to the modern human, but also includes the Neanderthals and many other species. Instead, modern humans are called Homo sapiens sapiens, meaning the human who knows of knowing. It's generally accepted that we've been around for about 200,000 years. Now, in this course, we'll discuss many different revolutions, and the first one we'll come to mention is the cognitive one. The cognitive revolution occurred around 70,000 years ago, and it was a real game changer, which made us, the Homo sapiens, stand out from everyone else. One important advantage that we had was our ability to adapt to the climate, making warmer clothes, tools, and our bodies even changed with that as well, with a more encephalized brain. So we had larger brains, but we also had butt-walking muscles that enabled us to walk straight, which in turn freed up our hands and evolved our brain to do new things like making tools, spears, knives, and ultimately fire. But something we haven't discussed is how our large brains along with our vocal cord helped us to do more than just grunt, and this eventually empowered us to invent language, being able to convey more advanced meanings than, for instance, just grunting. Rrr, rrr, enabled us to work together, whether it was fighting for food or teaching each other different things. Yes, of course, I should say that parrots can mimic all our human sounds and even more. Whales and elephants also all have impressive communicative abilities, but what really sets us apart is our ability to connect a limited number of sounds and signs to produce an infinite number of sentences, each with a distinct meaning. A monkey can, for instance, yell to its buddies, "Careful, a tiger!" But a modern human can tell its buddies that this afternoon near the bend in the river she saw a tiger tracking a herd of zebras. This communicative ability made us very special. However, if anything, it was our unique ability to transmit information about things that do not exist at all that made us stand out. Myths, gods, and religions appeared for the first time here, and while animals and human species could previously say "careful, a tiger," Homo sapiens sapiens was also able to say, for instance, the tiger is the guardian spirit of our tribe. The period from about 70,000 to 30,000 years ago witnessed the invention of boats, bows and arrows, and needles, which helped push the Homo sapiens all across the globe, even the furthest reaches of the world such as Australia, and it's during this period that our fellow Homo siblings faded out from history. Most researchers believe that these unprecedented accomplishments were the product of a revolution in sapiens' cognitive abilities. If we were to encounter a 50,000-year-old Homo sapien today, we could probably learn their language and they ours. We'd also be able to explain everything we know to them, from all the Marvel movies to the paradoxes of quantum physics. They were probably just as smart as we are today. Okay, so we know who we were, but do we know how we were? Well, we were actually hunter-gatherers, which means we lived like nomads, moving around wherever food took us. Many studies actually point to people at that time having more spare time since they only worked to get enough food, so they spent more time Humpty Dumpty than we do now. Also, from what we can tell, there was little talk of inequality, as a young female would be more fit to hunt than, say, her old grandpa, and so hunt she shall, regardless of she not being a he. And that, guys, is the history of prehistoric you. And we keep living like this up until roughly around 10,000 years ago, when we start building smaller cities and eventually civilizations. But that's in our next very exciting episode. In the next video, we'll discuss how all of this, along with our Dumpty Humpty habits, changed along with the advent of agriculture. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you learned something new. See you next time. Goodbye.